But it's not like this is the gold standard of Christmas.
No.
We put up the lights on this day. We put this ornament on this branch of the tree.
No. Hey everybody, and welcome to Epic Everyday, our weekday podcast for busy, overwhelmed Christians who would prefer to live in peace and freedom and abundance instead of living in insanity. Mm-hmm. I'm Liz Ferris, and this is my husband, Evan.
Hi there. Happy Wednesday.
Yes, happy Wednesday.
Opportunity day number 3 of the week.
Mm-hmm.
Because they're all full of opportunity.
This is true. Well, so this week we are talking about the holidays. As you guys know, our show is a reminder show. We work our way through the CSCs to consistently remind ourselves and anybody else that feels like they need reminded to keep applying them. They are being calm, surrendered, centered, connected, and complete. So today we're talking about being centered, even in the middle of the holidays.
Yeah. And I think that's tricky.
No kidding.
Because center is remembering, center is where our energy comes from, right? Like if you're centered physically, you are on your center of balance and you're not going to tip over.
Yeah.
Right?
Well, I mean, it's using the center of your body
to move.
Like, yeah, having your power come from the center of your body through your connection to the ground rather than just using your hand.
Yeah.
Like you're using your waist and your center to punch with, things like that.
I think one thing that's tricky about the holidays is that it's always going to be some sort of a medley, like even if as you're a kid, you've got mom's family does it this way and dad's family does it that way, and we try to figure it out and make one unified, holiday, whatever. And then as an adult, if you get married or if you're spending time with your friends or you're away at college for the first time or whatever, there's a menu of choices and you're trying to figure out what to do. So it seems like it'd be easy for my center to get lost in that.
Yeah, to lose touch with what's important to you, who you are, who God's designed you to be.
Right. And if we're not, and then not moving from center, I think would look like, just randomly pick some stuff, or I'll decide which ones make the most sense to me, and I'm not really drawing on that wisdom and power of the Holy Spirit.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. For me, I think it's just, around the holidays, because my stress level tends to go up, I sometimes feel like I just lose touch with who I am. I'm like a boat without a rudder. Yeah. I'm busy, really, really busy, going in a lot of circles, like not really going anywhere. And it's easy for me to slide back into survival mode and just be like, all right, going from A to B to C to D to E without ever considering, should I be doing A? Should I be doing B? Yeah,
it just seems like those, should I do it, that decision's been made already for some reason. And now you just got to figure out how to get it done.
Right.
And it's probably more stuff than you actually have time for.
Exactly.
Especially, getting over your chronic illness. It's definitely more stuff than you have energy for.
Yes. Anything is more than I have energy for sometimes.
Yeah.
But I think it's easy to just focus on the to-do-ness of the holidays rather than on the being part of the holidays. Like just being, sitting with who has God made me to be, the fact that we're his children, and sitting with, celebrating Jesus's birth and celebrating the reality of our situation. The girls and our daughters had a fairly lengthy conversation this morning about heaven and, the new earth and just having new bodies and being able to ask God questions about all kinds of stuff,
Yeah, right.
Everything from what's in the center of Cahokia Mounds to why did this happen, or why did you do things this way? And I think, at Christmas, we're trying to celebrate that stuff. We're trying to celebrate Jesus's birth and celebrate the fact that he came and lived a perfect life for us so that we can have his perfect record in place of our sin. Like, it's something huge to celebrate, but it gets lost in the middle of, trying to pick out the perfect presents and find the right wrapping paper and make a good, make good holiday cookies, make good holiday meal, sure. Like, there's just so much stuff.
Yeah. I'm still just like I get stressed about that stuff too, but for some reason, and I think this is where, in a way we've been blessed to walk this path and through your health problems, because it really takes away all the peripheral stuff and just focuses on these core parts of the issue.
Right.
Whereas, because I didn't grow up being exhausted about the holidays, or it was just always fun. And then, but the downfall is that the downside is I could go into the rest of my life just thinking that it's not a big deal and it doesn't take that much planning or really, intentionality or anything. It just kind of happens and it's fine. Whereas we now are scrutinizing everything because we have to. And I like that because it's kind of like some of the ways we've talked about cleaning our house, or there's different ideas about, not hoarding stuff or purging stuff where you like hold the thing and you're like, not like what's it worth money wise, but like how much emotional energy or time do I spend
time is a big
on this thing?
One,
right? Like if I've never used this paperweight, but I've moved it from house to house for the last 20 years or whatever.
Is it really worth expending that much energy to keep it?
So we've been blessed in a way where we take inventory a lot, and we're constantly like, is this in or out? Whatever this thing is, whether it's an event we're thinking about going to, or an item in our house, or whatever. What are we making for dinner? Something elaborate or something not?
Right. Yeah, and so much of that is dependent on how do I feel.
Yeah.
We don't really have much of a choice. So.
Right. And yeah, like I said, I think that is a blessing, because I think that's part of a Christian's calling, is to try to be as intentional as possible about everything, how we spend every moment.
I agree.
And it's easy being a healthy person to just not, and to just kind of drift through.
I think that was so funny. Like, it just is such a difference in our backgrounds too. I mean, because to me, the holidays have always been like super stressful. I mean, fun too, but super stressful, and tons of work goes into them. And yeah, I have a very different, I mean, I look forward to the holidays, but at the same time, I'm just like, oh, it's going to be brutal, Yeah.
I mean, the most people I've ever had to coordinate Christmas for is the 4 people in our family, as an adult.
It's true.
And that's very different than your experience as a kid.
Yeah.
So it's good. We're good for each other in that way. And I think, sometimes when we do the show, I'm like, oh, is it always, I feel like we're constantly way over to the left or the right with whatever, whatever. Like, it's really stressful, or it's not. And I think other people are like that too. I hope it's clear that it's possible to sort it out, whatever it is, with a little bit of intentionality and examination, like we talk about always.
Right. Yeah, it just takes time and energy.
Which what else are we going to be doing if we don't spend our time and energy being intentional?
Well, and I think it's Rory Vaden in his TED Talk about time management talks about how we need to constantly be asking what's going to give us more time and more energy. And a lot of this stuff, it takes time up front, but it frees up so much. It's kind of like, learning your learning style when you're like, okay, this is, I learn best through, I'm a kinetic learner. I need to do stuff, or I'm an auditory learner. I need to hear it, or I'm a visual learner. I need to see it. Once you figure that out, it takes work to figure that out, but then it makes the rest of your life so much easier,
Yeah.
And it's the same kind of thing. Trying to figure out how do you do the holidays in a centered way takes work. And, yes, we're smack dab in the middle of it, but it's not Christmas yet. You still have time. If Christmas is the holiday you're celebrating right now and New Year's, you still have time to take a step back and say, what do I need to do ahead of time to stay centered on the day?
Yeah. I think a big part of moving from center is going to be doing exactly that, but also looking at, what do I need to do, what do I want to do, and what's actually possible to do.
Yeah.
And it's not like, okay, maybe this Christmas, get it sorted out last minute, and then next Christmas, oh, cool, we did all that work, we're good to go. Like, our life situation is going to be different every year, and we always want to be intentional, not just now and forever. Write down the Christmas plan, and it's locked away in a safe, and that's what we always do.
Although I will admit, I pull out our Christmas plan from the previous year and go, here's what we did last year, everybody. What do we want to do differently? So we're not starting from scratch.
I think that's wise. Yeah, but it's not like this is the gold standard of Christmas.
No.
We put up the lights on this day, and we put this ornament on this branch of the tree.
No.
Yeah,
not that organized.
I think another big thing that's going to be important for the Christian to move from center is letting go of expectations, like holding it with an open hand. Our ideas about what Christmas is going to be like, or what this day is going to be like.
Interesting.
Being willing to let God say, redirect our path if need be.
So kind of a like, hey, this is part of who my identity is as a Christian is to let God do whatever he's going to do. So I'm going to be surrendered.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. And to influence me, whatever my background. I mean, and to teach me things, even about the holiday, like Christmas is a pretty big deal, but it's not actually, we're not commanded to celebrate Jesus' birthday in the Bible,
Right.
And it's definitely, like you said in the beginning, like I love thinking about God becoming a man and those stories from the Gospels. Like it's super powerful, and I'm glad we have a time set aside to do that. But
yeah,
I think it's part of wisdom to be like, well, this isn't the high holiest day in God's mind,
right?
In all time, It's something we've made, and it's full of good things, but do we have to kill ourselves trying to make it perfect?
Yeah, definitely. Or no, definitely. Yes, I totally agree with you that we should think about that. No, we don't have to kill ourselves to make it perfect. Because, part of who we are is being limited. We're not all powerful. We're not all knowing, yada, yada.
Yeah. And when we move from center, that we don't always know where, when we take that step, we don't know what the destination is exactly all the time. I think as Christians, we are centered on God's power and God's will for us and God's wisdom. But then we still want to take over control with our own will a lot. And use our own wisdom to try to figure out what's right. Or like what the danger of the holidays is, let's just charge through it and get it all done. Who cares what it all is? We just know we got to get it done, and we're stressed out.
Right. And like we talked about the last time we talked about the holidays, it's easy to fall into childhood patterns and, be a different person around the people that you spend Christmas with because you don't see them that often.
Yeah.
So part of being centered is hanging on to who am I, not just who am I generally as a Christian, but who am I specifically? You are the only you that exists. So who are you? And how do you express that to the people that you have a relationship with? Because if they're not having a relationship with your true self, like there's not a relationship.
Yeah. And if we're not being authentic and genuine, we're preventing that relationship too. We talked about that a lot last week.
Mm-hmm. Totally.
It's a good concept.
I agree. So, hopefully a couple practical things, which we have talked about before, but, hanging on to who you are, put your rails down ahead of time, whatever that looks like. If you're a train, you need the track to run on, so plan ahead. Do risk management rather than crisis management. Figure out what is important to you about Christmas now before you actually get to Christmas Day. And it's not too late to change things around,
Yeah, that's true.
So,
yeah, it seems, we don't have to be on autopilot just because it's a week before Christmas.
Exactly.
It's always a chance to be intentional today.
Yes, definitely. I definitely need reminded of things, and sometimes hearing something, it strikes me a different way every time.
Yeah, you should see the look on Liz's face sometimes when I say something that makes no sense to her. And she just is like, okay, tell me more. It happens a lot doing this show. But
just like, where are you going? Okay, all right. We can do
I'm a
that.
verbal processor, and we need each other. I need you.
Ditto. All right, we love you guys, and we are praying for you that you can, hang on to who you are, because who you are is precious. Thanks to everybody that's been sharing the show. We really appreciate it. If you have found this podcast helpful, please do continue to share the show. The more people that are living in the CSDs, the better the body of Christ is. The better it is for me and for you and for all our listeners. Have an awesome Wednesday.
Yeah. Talk to you tomorrow.